Hello, I miss you. Where are you? Hi, it's Letitia Romero. And if you landed here, you've landed on Let's Talk News. And I really miss you guys. Although I did have a really, really good weekend. So thank you for being patient with me. I went off to celebrate with my niece for her bridal shower. And so I wasn't able to even I only got one short video up. But I'm here now and I hope you're going to all join us because we have a lot to talk about. As one Democrat said, please stop shooting our president or shooting at our president. Yeah, I echo that 1,000,000%. Over the weekend, the president was finally attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's the first time that he's attended it. And wouldn't you know, there was someone who um, wanted to save the world from Trump. And so this is what happened. I'm sure you've all seen it, but let's have a quick look at what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Because they were neutralizing the threat. The gunshots were very loud. They did appear behind me, so I think that reporting of someone trying to breach the mag is, in fact.
I slowed that part down a little because a lot of people said that Donald Trump uh, fell as they were taking him out. But he stopped to pick up Melania. If you noticed, the chair of the event, the woman, oh, I've forgotten her name now. I'm sorry. She and Melania were under the table, kind of. And they were pulling Trump out. You saw how they pulled JD Vance out, but they pulled him out, and Melania was still there, and she was on her hands and knees, and Trump, went down to pick her up and to take her to safety. So soon after that, he was ushered to safety, but he said that he wanted to return to the event. He wasn't going to let any terrorist or threats stop him from returning to the event. So now the event is on for 30 days from now. So let's see how many of the fake news journalists actually attend the event in 30 days. But of course, the question is, why does this keep happening? And Peter Doocy asked the president why he thought it kept happening. And President Trump had a great comment. He said that presidents who do things have been the ones that have been targeted. Lincoln, Reagan, Kennedy, obviously. Lincoln, Kennedy, Reagan, blah, blah, blah. And himself, because they're consequential. They do things. The ones that don't do things, don't piss anybody off, who could care? Nobody wants to get rid of them. So 3 times now. So it's Trump 3, poo-pooers 0. And it's all, it's all because of the news media and how they treat him. And I'm going to show you a clip from Jimmy Kimmel that's going to blow your mind if you haven't seen it. Hello, Kevin, from the other side of the world, but the same side of the issues. Hello, aloha, Robert Santillian. Good to have you. Hi, Francine. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really did miss you guys. I just couldn't find a minute or a place where I could actually do a video. Hello, Angela Recca and our OG Lucille Chavone. Thank you. I was up in your neck of the woods, Lucille and Angela, but I'm glad to be home. Hello, Karen. Good to have you. Yes, I miss you guys too. Another sick man, 31, still living at home. Yeah, you're right about that. I sent you some messages on our Hawaii issues this past week. Well, I will try and catch up, Robert. I honestly have been doing nothing but celebrating my goddaughter this weekend, and it was very nice to do that. Why was Trump the last one to be hauled off the stage? It was a matter of logistics, I understand. It was easier to get Vance out than it was to get Trump out. And the shooter was on that side. So that's what I understand. That JD, it was just easier to get JD out. And the shooter was in that area on that side. Who was teaching this would-be killer? He was a teacher. That's that, and the question is, they have. I think the group was called Eyes Wide Open, or something like that. That he was a part of, and I'm going to show you some videos that will really make your toes curl. So glad Melania is speaking out. Yeah, she should, because that was bullshit what Kimmel said. Good evening, Kevin Young. Hello, Ramon. Good to have you. Hello, Professor. Go ahead, give me the latest. What's going on? Good evening, Gary. Thank you, Angela. Okay, so the first lady was really pissed because now here's our third attempt on the president's life, and all the Democrats, by the way, just an aside, all those presidents that were assassinated or shot at, hit or not hit, were all shot at by a Democrat. Okay. Just wanted to let you know that. The ones that say that they're not the violent, they're not the violent party. We are. But I digress. So the press, every late night talk show host has made fun of every president. We expect that. But there was a moral center. There was a moral compass, right? There were lines you didn't cross. Well, this is what Jimmy Kimmel said. I think it aired on Thursday or Friday before the dinner.
It's the All-American White House Correspondents' Dinner. Here's your host for the night, Jimmy Kimmel.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
How I couldn't make a longer clip, but he was doing a skit about the White House Correspondent dinner, and I believe he wasn't there. But to say she has the glow of an expectant widow, that was kind of interesting to me, that he would cross that line. Totally poor taste. And, his canned audience laughter is got him thinking that he's actually funny. And I just don't see anybody other than sick people who would think that was funny. And I don't think that we Republicans have ever, even Joe Biden, gone after him in that way, saying that he needs to be taken out. We have said that he needed to be tried for treason for letting all those people into the country. Absolutely. But we didn't call him Hitler. We didn't wish him dead. Because I mean, honestly, it would have been so easy for him. We could have just bowl of ice cream and it would have been over. Face in, that's it. Some sleeping pills. Both Donald Trump and Melania Trump are calling out ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel for having a mock correspondent dinner. It's not for having a mock correspondent dinner. If I had played you the whole, and you could see it, go Jimmy Kimmel Live on YouTube. You could see what he said. The things that he said were crass and were horrible. And, no first lady has ever been disrespected like Melania Trump. And, say what you will about Donald Trump, but what has Melania done? What other than be a really great first lady? What has she done? Not a thing. Our friends on the left are saying it was staged to get the Trump ballroom. Yes, I've seen that. And I mean, I don't know what's sicker. The people who try to get rid of him or the people who claim that it was staged. It's crazy shit. Really is. Too many important people in one spot. Who was the designated survivor? They had one actually. Apparently it wasn't the speaker. And it wasn't it was the secretary of the something, whatever comes after speaker, because that person wasn't there. Reagan was shot at the hotel, at that hotel. That's true. He was. And that's why we can't keep having, these situations. If you have Democrats doing skits like that, I mean, if they're doing that now with Trump and they're talking about us, and I'll show you. Oh, did I upload it? I don't know. I got to take a look. I think I did. But I'll show you the signs that were outside. Ted Lieu, I hear, sent the assassin. Now they're pushing him to resign. They're pushing Ted Lieu to resign because of, I forgot why they want him to resign. But it wasn't that he sent the assassin. It was another reason. Give me a minute, I'll think of it. Even a socialist assassinated JFK. That's right. They were all, the ones that were democracy. Kimmel is sick. He always was sick. I mean, he's the one that used to film at Battery Park City looking at girls' dresses. I mean, he really is a pig. He must be fired. Very poor taste. Not funny. Well, if he has an audience, he has an audience, but I understand he doesn't. I'm all for free speech. I don't care what you say. I'm all for free speech. If people are that stupid, people are that stupid. But this is beyond free speech. This is a coordinated messaging. This is a propaganda campaign that's been going on for 10 years now. So that I have a problem with. It is a coordinated propaganda campaign. So if everybody's singing the same tune, somebody's coordinating it. We need to find out what this is all about. Have you seen another teacher talk about this before the event? People knew? Yes, I have that clip. Hold on, and I'll get it for you. Hello, Andrew Dorman. How are you? Hi, Tom. How are you feeling? I hope you're great. Given the temperature of our nation, we should not have large events right like that right now. It's not that important. Sorry. Well, he disagrees with you, and so do I. You can't let terrorists terrorize you. Once you start changing your behavior, the terrorists win. Yes, no, I know who you're talking about, John Lieu. You're Ted Lieu. You're right. They're pushing him to resign. I just can't remember why. It was something that he said or did, and I can't remember. Leftists creating assassination culture since the United Healthcare CEO was murdered, and leftists were celebrating and calling Luigi a hero. Yes, you're absolutely right. Hi, Michael Cox. Gutfield has better ratings than Kimmel. Absolutely, he does. Death threats is not free speech. It's a felony. Listen, we didn't like it when we couldn't talk about COVID on the internet. We didn't like it when they tried to take away free speech. And that's why Elon Musk had to buy Twitter. I'm sorry. I disagree with you. And we're allowed to do that. I don't think that should be a government mandate thing. I think that should be a social standard thing. We, the people, should speak with our ratings, watching, we should say absolutely not. We're not going to accept that. That's my opinion. How's that? No one was screened for guns, because hotels don't screen your bags for guns. They just don't. I am great, thank you. So he was smart. But let's hold on a second. All right, this is a little long, but first let's do the teachers. Here's the teachers.
God damn it, they missed again. Who doing the fucking shooting? Shit! Bitch, where my motherfucking wine?
Why can none of you fucking aim across a grassy knoll in the back of a moving car? We were real Americans. Stop pulling the trigger unless you fucking have the shot.
People are saying it's gonna happen this weekend and they're buying champagne or whatever, but I want to remind everybody that we need to make sure that they don't bury it. We need to hang it out front of the White House for the birds to pick clean. And then once it's picked clean, we need to bronze it and install it over the entryway to the White House so that the next person who gets in there knows what's coming for them. And if they try to take it down, they can replace it.
So the it that he's talking about is the president's body. And that was posted on Friday. And he's a teacher. And I believe strongly that there is a little teacher cult going on. And this is the result. Let's see. Is there a connection to the anti-war sentiment to the shooting? I don't think so. I think that's part of it. But in a minute, we're going to play his manifesto. I guess Trump is telling them they failed. Telling who they failed. Real nutcases, they sure are. The stairwell needed better security. Yep, Mom. I think that, here's what I think. He's still here. And the guy's in custody. Secret Service absolutely did their job. DC police did their job. All law enforcement did their job because they got him. Same as, the guy that was on the fence line when he was playing golf. They got him. I forget what his name was. But the only time that they weren't on their game was when Biden was in charge. So yes, teachers. Yes, they're teachers. They're teachers. He was teacher of the year, and those three were teachers. Those are teachers. They're teaching our children, and that's what the scary thing is. And before I show you the manifesto, I just wanted to remind everybody. Remember, last week we talked about how they were going after Kash Patel for drinking a beer. Well, here's what the press was doing after the shooting.
Tragically, we've covered shootings, we've covered all sorts of scary and terrible events, but it's not often where you have a loved one next to you in that moment.
So they were grabbing arms full of booze, chugging booze. That's what was going on after the event, after the shooting, after they cleared the room. Let's see. Only cowards attack Trump. Yeah, well, I agree. America has a lot of cowards. Fantastic job by Secret Service agents. Yes, absolutely, I agree. Radical teachers are dangerous, and this is what's happening. Is that we are giving over our children to these people. Make truth serum great again and get him to talk. Well, that's why I'm so glad that he's alive. I am so glad he's alive. They got him, but he found a hole in defense and went up the middle, right down the corridor, right? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm not saying you're not right. Well, he says it himself. This is a little long and it's computer read, but listen, this is his manifesto.
So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. I apologized to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. I apologized to my colleagues and students for saying I had a personal emergency. By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. I apologize to all of the people I traveled next to, all the workers who handled my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this, to all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, to all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me, and I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement, probably in a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, they are targets, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Secret Service, they are targets only if necessary, and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible, also known as I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Hotel security, not targets if at all possible, also known as unless they shoot at me, Capitol Police, same as hotel security. National Guard, same as hotel security hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot rather than slugs, less penetration through walls. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor, and are thus complicit, but I really hope it doesn't come to that. Rebuttals to objections. Objection 1. As a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. Rebuttal. Turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. I'm not the person raped in a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without trial. I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. Objection 2. This is not a convenient time for you to do this. Rebuttal. I need whoever thinks this way to take a couple minutes and realize that the world isn't about them. Do you think that when I see someone raped or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it would be inconvenient for people who aren't the victim? This was the best timing and chance of success I could come up with. Objection 3. You didn't get them all. Rebuttal. Gotta start somewhere. Objection 4. As a half-black, half-white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. Rebuttal. I don't see anyone else picking up the slack. Objection 5. Yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Rebuttal. The United States of America are ruled by the law, not by any one or several people. Insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law, no one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. I would also like to extend my appreciation to a great many people since I will not be likely to be able to talk with them again, unless the Secret Service is astoundingly incompetent. Thank you to my family, both personal and church, for your love over these 31 years. Thank you to my friends for your companionship over many years. Thank you to my colleagues over many jobs for your positivity and professionalism. Thank you to my students for your enthusiasm and love of learning. Thank you to the many acquaintances I've met, in person and online, for short interactions and long-term relationships, for your perspectives and inspiration. Thank you all for everything. Sincerely, Cold Force Friendly Federal Assassin Allen. P.S.
All right, we're not going to read the PS. The PS was about how he was able to get the guns on the train and, check into the hotel, and that he hoped that the Secret Service would do better in the future. So that's what he left. Make of it what you will. Sounds to me like he's part of a group, part of an organized group. And that other guy, Opossum Wolf, I think that he was part of the same group. And he sounds like he has a hero complex to me. Some of the press who attended the dinner are getting canceled by the left, who they aligned with. They're eating themselves. Yeah, well, I'll show you Don Lemon in a minute. The shooter was a radical teacher. He was. Leftists are socialist pigs. Well, that's where leftists goes. Mental illness runs rampant in the left. They're very gullible because, and we talked about this on the show before, because they're so used to like unions and chanting, and you see how they act. That's how they are. It's one mind, one thought, one. Even when they're speaking, they all use the same thought. They are the cult. They've always been the cult. It's just as simple as that. And I suggest that we stop using the left and start talking about them for what they are. They are a cult. That's what they are. And the parents had no clue he lived with them. If you sit in your room all day with headphones on, playing games or chatting online, I mean, how many people know how much time we each spend online? I think I spend a lot of time online. I got home today, this afternoon at around 2:00, and I sat here for 3 hours getting this show ready online. And that was a short day for me being online. And I'll be on another 3 hours to cut everything up and to start looking for what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So a lot of people spend a lot of time online. It's crazy. Most likely he learned this from them. I agree. I absolutely agree. He was ready to kill innocent people. Hope he spends his life in jail. Oh, he will. I can't see him ever being let out. Sounds like he got this from the MSM code book. 100%, Kevin. 100%. Regardless, all hotels should screen for guns and weapons, especially when the president is involved. Well, at what point maybe we shouldn't have these kinds of events where you can't keep freedom of movement going. I listen, I've been with many presidents and at many presidential events, and only the people going into the event and only the place where the event is being held is usually screened. I mean, how many blocks you want to close off because the president's in town? Do we want to do that? Is that, we all bitch when the UN is in session or when the president is in town in New York. Do we really want to do that? And that means that every time the president is somewhere, people are going to be pissed. I don't know. SS should have shot him. Oh, Secret Service. I think that it's important that they talk to him. I hate that they, all these shooters, we never get to talk to them. He not only effed himself, but those associated with him are also screwed. Christian behavior. I guess he felt the world was about him. He had a hero complex, 100%. But he thought, like in his mind, Trump was going around raping people. That's the Eugene Carroll case. I mean, this guy was gullible, but he was, what does everybody say about him? Highly educated. No, highly indoctrinated. That's not education. That's indoctrination. Leftists are the real domestic terrorists in the country, and why they must be locked up in prison and also committed to the mental institution. All of them, listen, they're a cult. And if you can get rid of the cult leaders, then the cult goes away. It shows how extremely jealous of Trump because over 4 million people voted for him. 4 million, more than 4 million voted for him. Never say never. They let Hinckley out. Well, that's true, Michael. Yeah, you're right. When the ballroom is complete, it will be a very secure place for events like this. I agree. Actually, every minute online, 1 hour research offline. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so listen, here's Don Lemon. Then and now. Listen to this.
Their message is peace and coming together in the country. What's your message?
You don't believe that for 1 minute, do you?
That their message is?
Yeah.
That's what they said to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe them. Of course.
Any protests over the deaths of these cops today in Baton Rouge?
I don't know that.
Any riots or protests over the police officers in Dallas, Texas?
What are you asking?
It's a pretty simple question.
I asked you what's your message to the people. Their message is one of peace. What is your message?
My message has been clear from day one 2 years ago. This anti-cop sentiment from this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter has fueled this rage against the American police officer. I predicted this 2 years ago. So what I want to know,
okay, Sheriff.
do I want to know?
With all due respect, do you know that this was because of that?
Yes, I do.
As a law enforcement officer?
I've been watching this for 2 years. I predicted this. This anti-police rhetoric sweeping the country has turned out some hateful things inside of people that are now playing themselves out on the American police officer. I want to know, with all of the black-on-black violence in the United States of America, by the way, when the tragedies happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, you know that 21 black people were murdered across the United States? Was there any reporting on that?
There was a black officer who was killed today. But
was there any reporting on that?
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here. So I understand, and listen. I'm
looking at 3 dead cops this week, Sheriff, and I'm looking at 5 last year. You trying to tell me to keep it down?
Just please, if you'll just please, we can keep it civil. So, because the message to people at home, I'm sure you want, is one of civility.
I wish, Don, I wish you had that message of civility
have a conversation
toward this hateful ideology, these purveyors of hate.
You don't know what my message is.
That's
what I want to say to you is
these people preach vile and virtue.
We'll be right back.
This is not normal Republican versus Democratic politics. The Trump regime is trying to take away press freedom. They are trying to kill the First Amendment. They don't believe in the First Amendment. They don't believe in freedom of the press. Otherwise, they would not be arresting reporters. They would not be searching their homes. They would not be taking their cell phones. They wouldn't be trying to investigate them because they write a story that you don't like about your girlfriend. All of those things. I can't believe the White House Correspondents Association invited them to be in that room. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You have to take a stand. And if you're in that room, you are co-signing this. You are complicit in normalizing something that should not be normal. Something that is really, what they're doing is unconstitutional. So I think it's going to be up to independent journalists to fight the good fight until we get our mainstream corporate journalists back in some way.
Okay, so the guy who is trying to shut up the sheriff is saying that Trump is trying to shut up news media. It's laughable. But, just that's what I'm talking about here, is they're such hypocrites. And Kevin says he's rude, and Gary says that he hopes that they'll eliminate any holes in the future. Listen, I don't rule out that there were turncoats in that detail. There has to be turncoats for this stuff to get so close. Obviously, Butler, there were turncoats there, and there may still be hold-ons. You never know. You don't know until, especially if there's spooks and spies involved, and we know that there are. Okay, let's see what everybody has to say. He said Don Lemon is a lemon. And he says, no, he's a grapefruit. That's funny. Don Lemon is getting squeezed. Oh, okay. Oh, you guys are funny. Hi, Lillian. He is enticing violence. Absolutely, he is. Take Lemon's freedom. The problem with Don Lemon is that he's not a reporter. He's an instigator. He's an activist. So guess he wasn't invited. Yeah, he says he was, but yeah. Lemon always sounds butthurt. Yeah, he does. He's a victim. My son was going to leave the Marines and become a PA state cop. Things were too bad when Obama was in. I told him not to. He's in security in Area 51 now. Wow, top secret. Thank you for your service. And thank your son and your family, because I always say it's not just the person who serves, it's their whole entire family that stays up at night worrying. Okay, so what did we learn? We've learned that there's a tape out there, Hakeem Jeffries, this is there's no room for political violence. So somebody asked him today about his rhetoric, and he stood up and said, well, if I offend you, I don't care. This, that, the other thing. It's just, they're not going to stop. They're just not. I saw a video today of a question. Why does Lemon and Harris hate the whites, but the both screw white men? Yeah. Well, it seems that a lot of the cult, the black cult members are, they want to be activists for blacks, but they all have white lovers or husbands or spouses. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. As always, I'm over. But since I wasn't here for a couple of days, I thought I'd stay a little longer. But I was up at 3:30 for an early flight, and I know I'm always tired, right? I'm gonna have to start sleeping at night. I'm gonna see you tomorrow, and we're gonna talk more about this and other things. So I love you all. I miss you all. And I'm back. So I'll see you tomorrow at 8.